there, Peculiar One here, and I just wanted to give you another update on project number 2. What I'm doing for project number 2 is I'm knitting a cowl or a neck warmer. And yesterday I swapped out some yarn from 2 very narrow strands of wool to 1 narrow strand of wool and 1 fairly thick pinky strand of a synthetic acrylic, which is really, really soft. Don't be afraid of synthetics. But I just wanted to show you how when you swap out your yarn from something narrow to something thick and even textured, it can totally change the size of your project. Originally, we were casting on 60 stitches, and I'm noticing now as I start my project over again that I had to change the size. So if you're using yarn that is in fact thicker, like this, as opposed to something thin, you have to adjust accordingly the size, depending on what size needles you're using and depending on the size of your yarn. If you're following along and you're using some chunky yarn, as you cast on and as you start to knit, before you knit a lot, make sure it's going to actually fit you or the person who's going to be wearing it. I have to switch my cast on stitches to 45 instead of 60. No big deal. I didn't get very far before I realized. I just wanted to pass it on to you. As a beginner knitter, depending on the size of your yarn and the size of your needles, you have to stay on top of sizing, unless you're going to follow a pattern to a T. So if you're following along and you're finding that casting on 60 stitches is way too many and it's going to fit you really, really bulky, unless you want it to be bulky and kind of hang around your neck a little looser, that's great. But if it's something you want to actually fit your neck tighter and you're going to wear it in the cold and you're going to want it to keep you warm, I would pull it out and maybe cast on a few less stitches. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please don't hesitate to leave them down below. And until next time, happy knitting!